Anyone you care about is facing divorce. Contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Madsen's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Most resolutions for the new year fail before January is even over. Why not resolve to just be a little bit cleaner in 2026? Nebraska Auto Detail is here for you. Now through March 30th, if you purchase a ceramic coating, you'll get a free interior detail. There's no better way to start your year than taking care of your car and decluttering the mess that it becomes so easily. Book your detail today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call Joe and the team at 402-601-5086.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings & Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings & Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Got some major news. Nebraska is getting bigger in the trenches. All right, just got our 3rd offensive line commit. Paul Mubenga. Did I say that right?
I believe so.
You say he's originally from Congo? Is that what you told me right before we went on air?
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. I like stuff like that. It's one of those things where 3-star coming out of high school, Alabama's going after this guy in the portal. A lot of teams going after this guy in the portal. And again, what'd you say his height and weight was?
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy, 6'5", anywhere. You see it online, right? Anywhere from 310 to 320.
So you look at Brendan Black, listed at 320. You look at Tree Babalade. I'm going to love saying that name. As long as he blocks well, I'll immensely enjoy saying that name. Big Tree, as they call him, 338. And Mubenga on the light side is 310, all the way up to 330. We'll just say 320, somewhere in the middle. Split the difference. They're adding size up front, if nothing else. Mass kicks what, Jake? Grass. What'd you say?
I said butt.
Oh, okay. I was trying to keep the rhyming going. Plus, didn't I say grass the other day when I said that too? Mass kicks grass. All right. Alas. Sea bass. All right. Now you say I'm not a rapper. But here's my point. Nebraska's brought in 3 big, I mean that literally, not figuratively, big transfer portal commits along the offensive line. Brendan Black from Iowa State. Again, the dude has played over 2,100 snaps. You got Tree Babalade, one of the highest recruited offensive linemen coming out of the country. Started at left tackle as a true freshman, South Carolina. Then redshirted. So what that tells me is they thought highly of his potential. Maybe wasn't as consistent as a true freshman as you would like. All right, that happens with true freshmen sometimes. Redshirted, gave him a year to develop. Didn't start the year at right tackle due to injuries, took over at right tackle. Like, Big Tree is a guy with a high ceiling. How consistent does he become? Like the same stuff I said about Elijah Pritchett last year, right? The guy who went from 3rd string to our best player on the field in the bowl game. Like, can we find consistency? High ceiling, low floor, it's awesome and terrifying all at the same time. Can you find consistency? It's the hardest thing to find. Have I not said that consistently about 5,000 times over the past year?
Consistently, yes.
Consistently, I've talked about consistency being the consistent key. I'm just saying. I'm very consistent in being consistent. All right. The man we added today from LSU, Paul Mubenga. We're going to say he's 320, somewhere between 310, 330. A couple years of eligibility left. This is a dude, again, 3-star coming out of high school in the 2023 class. But he had teams like Alabama, a lot of SEC teams. He played at LSU. A lot of guys, a lot of schools who are used to getting a lot of talent, I'll put it that way, coming after him, which tells you what they think of him. So as far as playing up to this point, he's got multiple years of eligibility left, so he's an underclassman, a lot of room for growth. And one of the things you immediately read about him is the more he plays, the better he's going to get. So, again, I am not completely in depth on his history prior to LSU. But if you're coming over from Congo, okay, and one of the things they say about you now is that the more you play, the better you're going to get. What that tells me is you haven't played a lot of football prior to LSU. So there's, again, a huge upside there. What do you know about his actual play time, starts, and the performance at LSU up to this point? Bad news, Bach?
Yeah, well, it could be pretty good news, I suppose, in this case. Redshirted his true freshman season, as many offensive linemen do. Started the final 5 games at left guard in 2024 for the LSU Tigers. Only allowed 2 sacks on 275 pass block opportunities. And then this past season appeared in 10 games. The previous one where he appeared in 10 games. So his redshirt freshman season, 10 games, 5 starts. This past season started the final 5 games of the season once again at left guard for LSU, and it was an offensive line that led the SEC in sacks allowed with just 15. in 2024. So some success there, and then the upside. He's only played football for about 6 years. He started in high school, so maybe he can continue to grow and get better. And of course, you're getting him there, and once he hits his junior and senior year, that's money time for your offensive lineman, obviously.
So there you go. Really started playing football in high school, so hadn't played a lot of it beforehand. Okay, so the upside is pretty high. So you start to look at these portal guys, and we obviously have a defensive line coach. I do apologize. We actually did not get to that yesterday, but we will get to it a little bit today. Nebraska is making moves, making changes along the trenches, which we knew had to happen. From a personnel standpoint, 3 big, especially due to their size, transfer portal players: Brendan Black, Iowa State. All right, Tree Babalade, South Carolina. Paul Mubenga, LSU. These are dudes that are, the average weight is actually over 320 because of Tree's 338, or that's what he's listed at. Black is listed at 320. We're saying Mubenga is 320. So we're talking like 325-esque, somewhere in there, maybe a little bit higher. I'm not a math major here, but that math seems to be mathing close enough for me. So those are 3 big dudes they brought in. Now, how does that equate to the field? And one of the things John Butler said, obviously he's not here with us anymore, but one of the things he said after the Iowa game is you have to have bigger players. He's not here anymore. I hesitate. I'm just going to say, why didn't we know that before the season? But we're going to move on. I digress. We're going to move on from that, okay? But apparently that's a priority, an emphasis, and a focus now, which is good to see. How does that equate to success on the field? It gives you a greater opportunity when you bring – there are 3 talented offensive linemen. You got some experience in there. All 3 guys have started over the course of multiple seasons. So you've got experience, you've got size. How does it all come together becomes the question mark. Jeep Wade was obviously excited. Took to Twitter this morning, put out GBR with about 5 exclamation points. Then I love this, ... with about 5 more exclamation points. So he's clearly excited. He's going to be, along with Lonnie Teasley, they're going to be the key pieces to this puzzle coming together along the offensive line and gelling. We can get to the defensive line in a second. But let's just project a little bit. And I'm still of the mindset, and Rule has said, there's guys they paid a lot of money via the portal that did not end up playing a ton the past couple of years. We don't need to lay them all out. But you start to just see how things might project as long as jobs are earned in the way you think that they might be earned. The appropriate guys earning the jobs. Of course, I'm cool with whoever earns it, best player wins. But you start to look at left tackle, probably Elijah Pritchett. Okay, possibly earn that job. You go to right guard. I think that's where Spindler was. Was he right or left guard last year? Remind me.
I think it was. Let me pull up
one of the guards.
Chart here, yeah.
To me, the guards were always so interchangeable. It never really mattered. There's a bigger difference from left tackle to right tackle. There's just way more space, and you're facing more athletic speed guys off the edge. So left guard to right guard was never a big deal to me, so I don't tend to pay attention to that. Left tackle to right tackle, there is a vast difference in that. Which side did he play?
Rocco played right guard.
That's what I thought. Okay, Latovsky was left. So depending on how you see this unfolding, probably Justin Evans earning the job at center. Another guy who started multiple years along with Elijah Pritchett. Then you got Mubenga. You got Black. So Black, I think, is kind of projected to slice in there at right guard. Maybe Mubenga at left guard if he earns it. Now, Black is also a guy who's been mentioned. He can slide over to center if necessary. You've got guys coming up, Preston Tamua, Sam Sledge, right? Guys who are going to be in that sophomore year of eligibility, which is when you look at linemen and you're like, all right, by the time you're junior, senior, you're kind of expecting certain guys to contribute. And guys start and contribute earlier than they ever have in college football, ever. But with a lineman, it's like, all right, as a freshman, maybe, maybe not. As a sophomore, you'd love to see it, maybe, maybe not. But as far as being a depth piece and being able to compete, and if somebody goes down, if you're not already the starter, being able to step in and fill in with that next man up mentality, you look at a guy like Preston Tamua, you look at a guy like Sam Sledge, if they don't already earn the job. Then you look at tackle, you got Elijah Pritchett, you got Trey Babalade, you've got Gunnar Gatula, Grant Bricks, who could play guard or tackle. Honestly, I could see Gunnar playing guard or tackle. But you start to kind of see how the offensive line might potentially come together, or how the competition across the different offensive line positions might look. What are your thoughts on that? And when we sat here January, February, March last year, We felt good about the interior O-line. The offensive tackle spot was a gigantic question mark. Okay, unfortunately, I would have preferred to be wrong. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a gigantic question mark throughout the season. As we sit here now, a year later, again in mid-January, and there's a lot of time before spring ball, the portal closes Friday. That does not mean you have to be at your destination or your new school. It simply means you have to have entered the portal. Okay, when it closes, it doesn't mean you have to be at your new school. It means you have to be into the portal. You cannot enter the portal anymore after Friday unless you're playing in the national championship game on Monday. Then you're granted until January 24th, an additional 5 games after the national title game. Now, there's enrollment. Like enrollment in Nebraska starts January 20th. So you really want to be a part of winter conditioning, spring ball, summer conditioning. Of course, you can show up in the summer for summer conditioning, but you really want to be there in the winter for winter conditioning, spring ball. So the enrollment dates start to matter a whole lot. Again, you technically don't have to be anywhere, I guess, until fall camp in the summer, but you're putting yourself behind a couple of 8 balls there. So as we sit here, right now, we may have a decent idea of what this O-line is going to look like, at least the competition at certain spots. How do you feel now as compared to how you felt at this time last year about the O-line, Jake?
Well, it's interesting. I think last year a big part of it for me too was they had a lot of targets that they went after and kind of eventually got to where they needed to go. Now, with all that being said, I thought Rocco Spindler and Elijah Pritchett might have been their best, 2 offensive linemen on the front. So I think they did a good job there. I think last year, of course, there was a lot of names around that have been around that had battled through injuries at times. So I think there was enough depth there, and I think you're kind of in a similar situation here as you bring these guys in. I think you hope that you're bringing guys in and Babalade and Mubenga to start, as we saw with Elijah Pritchett. Maybe it can take some time for some of these guys to get there. Brendan Black, I mean, that's a plug and play guy right away. But at least got competition there. Like you mentioned, Gunnar Gatula, I think maybe frees him up to maybe get into guard if he needs to, or maybe his future's still there at tackle. But Tyler Knack, another guy that played in the bowl game, going to be able to come back. So that along with some of those younger names. And then, of course, the biggest question, I guess, and it is the changing of the guard at coaching, right? Is Jeep Wade going to be able to get the most out of these guys? Is Nebraska going to be able to return to the pipeline days? Now, I don't expect that immediately, but with what Jeep Wade did at Georgia Tech, you hope that he can, again, get the most out of the players that he has on campus now. And for what it's worth, too, Paul Mubenga, I mean, he was highly sought after in the portal. Nebraska had to beat Alabama to get him. So a lot of upside, I think, still out there with Elijah Pritchett, and maybe, kind of throw Mubenga in there. And so I think that this is among this. If you look at the portal as a whole for what Nebraska's done, I'm happy with what they've done on the offensive line because I knew they needed to target it, and they didn't just go kind of fill it in with, whatever they could get. These are, again, Blacks, play right away. These other guys could come in and play right away and have upside to them. So, and then the other thing is getting 3 of them. I mean, you got maybe potentially 3 starters out of the portal. That's a big deal.
So I agree with a lot of what you said. And I'm going to have a bit of a cliffhanger because I want to give a shout out to one of the partners of this show. But I'm going to tell you right now, I feel better as we sit here in mid-January this year about the O-line than I did at this time last year. All right. Let's give a shout out to one of the good partners and friends of this show. All right. As a former Husker and NFL player, you find folks know I'm a bit of a health nut. Hydration and recovery, they do start at home. That's why you should make sure you team up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and protects your water heater and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, make sure you add a Culligan reverse osmosis. It's like bottled quality water right at your tap. Great taste and is certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, get up to $300 off a whole home system or just $9.95 a month for your first 3 months. Schedule your free water test at CulliganHuskers.com. That's CulliganHuskers.com. Culligan of Lincoln, water you love, go Big Red. As we sat here last year, once we got Pritchett, you looked at Pritchett through the roof. Remember, projected first round before the end of spring ball, okay? Which was funny because he was third string going in the first game. And when I say high ceiling, low floor, this is what I'm talking about. First round talent, third string, first game, best player on the field versus Utah, albeit not a great game for Nebraska. That's the epitome of high ceiling, low floor right there. I feel better about Elijah Pritchett right now than I did this time last year. because I think he's going to find more consistency going forward. Justin Evans, I feel better this year than I did last year simply because he's a year older, more developed. I expect him to play a little bit better, at least a little bit better. So you look at the other spots. Rocco Spindler played solid at guard. I think Brendan Black is equal to, I don't want to say potentially greater than, he's at least equal to Rocco Spindler. I'll be honest with you. I think he might be a smidge better. Like I do, a smidge better. So at 2 of the 3 spots I've already talked about, I absolutely feel better, Justin Evans and Elijah Pritchett. With Rocco, I feel equal to, or maybe, Brendan Black equal to, maybe a smidge better than Rocco last year. Let's call it equal. We'll say equal. So look at the other 2 spots. Okay, Paul Mupenga, a little bit less proven. Tree Babalade, a little bit less proven. You look back to what we had last year. We had a very unproven Elijah Pritchett. You had a Gunnar Gatula who was missed spring ball due to injury, young guy. And you had a lot of guys who'd been in the program a long time. Love the heart, love the dedication, love the Corcoran and Prohaska and all these guys never transferred. By the way, technically Prohaska's got another year. We'll see how that all plays out with the injury and what he decides. Either way, I wish him the best. But there was a lot of banged up guys and then a lot of guys who had gigantic question marks next to them at tackle. You felt good about the interior, Latovsky, Rocco, Justin. To me, when you look at the 3 spots I've already talked about, I feel better about those 3 spots than I did last year. You look at the other left guard spot. Paul Mupenga, guy who started, guy who was highly sought after in the portal. It's a bit of a high ceiling, low floor situation. Same thing with Tree Babalade, a bit of a high ceiling, low floor situation. Okay, Adam, so where do you go? Do you feel a little bit better, a little bit worse at this point in time? There's 2 things I look at. Number 1, the coaching. I exponentially feel better about the coaching. It's not even a question mark. I'm not saying Jeep Wade is the best offensive line in the coach in the country. I'm not saying he's not. What I am saying is he's a good offensive line coach. He's a good offensive line coach. I don't hate the fact that we have 2 guys who are basically going to be focused on the O-line this year, which we didn't really have last year in Donovan's defense. Like Jeep and Lonnie. It's going to be easier to coach 5 guys with 2 guys. Jeep's trust me, he's the head O-line coach, if you want to put it that way. But I think that helps. I think Jeep is an upgrade as the head O-line coach in general. So I feel better about the whole O-line as a whole because I feel good about Jeep. You look at, whether it be Grant Bricks, Gunnar Gatula, Tree Babalade at tackle, and I know Grant can go to guard, Preston Tamua can go to tackle, but I kind of see Grant as a little bit more of a tackle, possibly. It could go either way. It depends on who plays well and who doesn't in spring ball. And I can see Preston Tamua doing the same thing. But I see Grant a little bit more of a tackle, could be a guard. I see Preston a little bit more of a guard, could be a tackle. They could go either way. They're both athletic and both big dudes. It just depends on where they're at with their development. You look at Tree Babalade, Gunnar Gatula, possibly Grant Bricks at that right tackle spot. I feel like we've got 3 legit options. I feel like as opposed to having a couple of good options with question marks, I feel like we've got 3 good options. One of them's got to stand out. And or you've at least got depth there if somebody goes down. But a lot of offensive line get hurt this year. So I feel better about the right tackle spot simply because I feel better about the amount of decent options to good options or whatever, however you view the options that we did last year. Even if they're high ceiling, low floor, 1 or 2 of them's got to hit. Maybe all of them do. None of them? None of them, Jake? Bad news, Bach. Are you going to strike here?
I don't think so.
Okay. You look at left guard, Paul Mupenga. Again, you can throw Bricks in there. You can throw Sledge in there. He's a center guard. You can throw in this conversation, this battle for playing time at the guard position. I'm forgetting somebody. Preston Tamua. I feel like I'm still forgetting someone else. There's other guys I haven't mentioned yet. Okay, I'm not trying to leave anybody out. But I feel like, again, there's enough options. Somebody's got to stand out. And there's enough options with a high ceiling and a good offensive line coach. Again, I'm not saying we're going to walk on the field with the pipeline 3.0. If you look at 94, 95, I'm not trying to skip every other O-line. And I'm not saying they're going to be one of the best O-lines in the country. That obviously is a possibility. Oregon, 4 of their 5 offensive linemen that started this year weren't even on the team last year at this point in time. They're up for the Joe Moore Award along with Indiana and Iowa, by the way. So you never know how it could pan out. It could be really good. I feel like the floor is exponentially higher than it was last year. How about that? That's why I feel better. Was the ceiling high last year? Yeah, it was. We had an offensive lineman talk about, the talent on this team is greater than it was at the offensive line at Notre Dame. We should be a Joe Moore Award type finalist offensive line. Obviously didn't happen. The ceiling is just as high. For me, the floor was too low last year. To me, the floor is much higher this year, which as a whole makes me feel better about whoever ends up earning the starting jobs. And if guys get banged up, having other guys ready to step up and add depth, or if you need to rotate guys early on in the year while you're figuring it out. I feel like the floor is higher, ergo I feel better. I'm not making some, hey, we're going to be one of the best O-lines in the country proclamation. That is part of the ceiling. It was last year. That didn't happen. And unfortunately, it's not happened for quite a while. What I am going to say is I feel like the floor is much higher. Ergo, I feel better about the offensive line right now in mid-January than I did last year. Does that make sense? What say you, Jake?
Yeah, it does. And again, I think a lot of it is, until we see these guys play and develop, part of it is just kind of projecting. And so hopefully, and we know the other part of it is we know the story of the last year's team. So you hope that you get better. And there could be some, okay, well, you're saying this coach is better than the last one because you didn't like the Rattlers. No, he got fired. Like, it didn't work out, right? I mean, so you were the whole idea behind that is to move up and get somebody better in place. So again, to me, a lot of this is Jeep Wade. A lot of this is certainly Elijah Pritchett as well. But again, potentially going out there, targeting guys and bringing in starters from the portal. And then if a couple of them, one of them, two of them don't happen to start, that probably means good things for the development of the guys that you've brought in over the years that have been highly touted. But again, the last offensive line coach seemed to struggle a little bit with developing. So I think that's all good. Like you, I mean, I'm not going to say this is the best offensive line in the Big Ten. I'm ready to think that, but it does feel like it's taking the steps in the right direction. What becomes interesting then from there is obviously you feel better because you got mobile quarterbacks in the back as far as pass protection. But do you feel better about what did last year's offensive line do well enough, at least, was give Emmett Johnson an opportunity to be one of the best running backs in the country. But we still don't have a running back target, maybe even as far as in the portal. So I find that highly interesting. And so to get that same type of production out of this offensive line, you might need somebody special out of there in the backfield, right?
All right, dude. You led perfectly. So we're going to get to the defensive line and the defensive line coach in the last segment. I wasn't sure we got like 5 clips, by the way. We're going to get to none of them today, Jake, so I apologize for that. The last segment, I want to talk about our new D-line coach and address the defensive line a little bit. We got a JUCO All-American. We got another edge rusher out of UCLA about a week ago. We got defensive tackle from Pitt yesterday. I feel differently at this point in time about the O-line than I do some of the additions on the D-line. Not that they're not potentially good. I don't know that you look at them and you're like, yeah, I feel good about you competing for a starting job really, really well right now. Some of them might be a little bit more longer-term play. Like the JUCO All-American. By the way, do you know how to say his name?
Not completely. But
we'll work on it during the break. Yeah. We'll do our best. There's some good things about the D-line. It's a good thing that we have a defensive line coach. You know, last year, first half of January, we didn't have a defensive line coach here then either, and I felt like that hurt us. And I felt like it maybe put us behind the 8 ball a little bit early January not having one, but we have one now. Okay, and Terry Braden didn't get here till mid-February last year. So we got a D-line coach a whole month earlier this year than we did last year. So we will address the D-line, new D-line coach, the last segment. But this next segment, let's chat about the quarterback room. You want to talk about quarterbacks? You want to talk about running backs? Let's talk about that in the next segment. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild has a delicious way for you to enjoy beef brisket. It's our open-faced hot beef sandwich. We start with our grilled Texas toast. Add a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes. Load them up with some tender Hog Wild beef brisket. And top it off with our tasty brown gravy. It's absolutely delicious. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184. 2,500 down with proof credit.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Change begins with you. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $22,750 for their time. Study includes 1 2-night stay, 1 3-night stay, and 38 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Adam Carriker Show. I want to give a shout out to Mulberry Barbecue. It's the noon hour. You know what that means. It's lunchtime here on the Adam Carriker Show. Brought to you by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue. Now with two numero dos locations at 11th and Cornhusker and 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try the burnt-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of ribs, half smoked chicken, and much, much more. Plus, get incredible sides to get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker and 61st and Apples Way, just off of Highway 2, right by Lowe's. All right. I want to talk quarterbacks first because I'm not sure what to make of the running back situation. So I want to go to the room that I feel better about. Let's go to the quarterback room. I love Anthony Calandria. Now, does that mean he's flawless? No. He's known for he's a bit of a gunslinger. He's a bit of a risk taker. He's got moxie. He has the potential to electrify Memorial Stadium. He has the potential to frustrate fans all at the same time. Now, his touchdown to interception ratio dropped exponentially from his time at Virginia. He set some records as a freshman at Virginia. His second year as a starter, ends up getting benched, transfers to UNLV. It just becomes the Mountain West Offensive Conference Offensive Player of the Year. And a lot of that was his completion percentage jumped up 5%, which is pretty big if you're a quarterback, 61 to 66%. So he completes 2 out of every 3 passes. He can make plays with his legs. At UNLV, it was 7 yards per play they averaged last year with him as their quarterback. Think about that, 7 yards per play. We couldn't even average 7 yards per pass attempt. That's a fact, by the way, here at Nebraska. Not including run plays, just pass plays alone here at Nebraska last season. Obviously, Mountain West, a little bit different than the Big Ten. It's not like we played Murderers Row Big Ten. FYI, it's not like we played Oregon and Indiana and Ohio State and Illinois and Iowa and Washington. Oh, wait, those are the teams we play next year. I literally just listed them out. We'll get to that when the time is due. Are we supposed to sip Kool-Aid right now? Can we put off the bad news box for a little bit?
Sure, we got plenty of time to sip some Kool-Aid.
Oh, we just keep it real. So here's the deal. I like Anthony Calandria a lot. Part of it is I like the way he plays. Like for me, I like the way he plays. He could electrify Memorial Stadium, not just because he will take shots downfield with his throws, okay, and with his legs, he can make plays. It's the way he plays. Now, some folks may be like, Adam, he's like 6 foot, 205. Well, this is true. So was, Russell Wilson. So was Drew Brees. So were some of these other guys. And I know, Adam, don't point out the outliers. Well, there's more guys I could list than just him. And here's the deal. Watch the plays where he runs. Watch him. You're not going to have to tell him to run physical and avoid sliding 1 yard short of the first down on 4th down. You're not going to have to do that. They might actually have to tell him to slide just to be safe. The dude plays bigger on film than he's listed on paper. Now, we need him to play the whole season, but that's up to the coaches, how they want to handle that with him. I played with Robert in DC, RG3. The dude was running around like a chicken with his head cut off with no fear whatsoever. Unfortunately, it didn't work out great for him. I just remember my locker was right next to his. It was London, it was Fletcher, then it was Robert, then it was me. And I remember looking at him during camp because he was treating it like the Olympic trials, just running around everywhere. He's got the green jersey on, so we can't touch him. So I'm half pissed about that. All right, listen here, rookie. Stop making me chase you to Timbuktu. We got 2-a-days back when you could do 2-a-days. I was like, if you get hurt in the regular season, I'm going to kill you. Those are my words to him. Obviously, I didn't mean it. And then unfortunately, it didn't work out the best. But part of that, as much as I loved Robert, he was a little bit lighter in the britches. He refused to slide. He refused to go out of bounds. I respected the tough man mentality approach. I did not appreciate the let's be a little bit smarter type mentality that just did not exist yet. So my point is, I love the way Anthony Calandria runs. This isn't the NFL, so the hits won't be as big, although the Big Ten, best conference in America, hear that down south. It's up to the coaches how they want to treat him as far as the end of the runs, what do you want him to do? I know what Shanahan told him. I know what Robert was told. He just refused to listen, which I respected and hated all at the same time. My point is, I'm a big fan of Anthony Calandria. You look at TJ Lateef, the dude is through the roof talent. And I do think there should be a legit quarterback battle. Like what he can do, what he showed at certain times. He showed he's a young quarterback learning. He also flashed what his ceiling is, which is really high. And then you look at Daniel Kalen. Could you have asked for a better third quarterback to come in? Like of all the guys you envisioned, like who's a realistic, and I don't mean third as in he's automatically third string. I mean, we already had two guys. We need another guy to come in to be a third quarterback on scholarship, and we'll see how the depth chart unfolds. Of the realistic options out there, Daniel Kalen would have been my number one option. Number one recruit in the entire state of Nebraska coming out of high school, 4-star, started some games at Virginia, a young guy who's learning, growing, a guy who Rule has looked at me and said he's got an NFL arm, NFL future. We'll see how that all plays out. But as far as having like three guys in that room, I couldn't have picked a better individual to come join the two that were already there than Daniel Kalen, plus a little bit of appreciating guys who just love playing for Nebraska. I don't think there's as much value put on that now in general as there used to be. Like Heinrich Harburg has not been talked about enough, in my opinion. And if he were the starting tight end or he had more touchdowns or he had whatever, people would be loving it. This dude was a starter that won 5 games in the Big Ten. He was a freshman. Was he a redshirt freshman or sophomore that year?
I believe he was a sophomore.
Sophomore, underclassman. Here comes this true freshman. Okay, you're not going to start anymore. Okay, I'll go to backup. All right, I'll try to get, I'll work with Tony White and practice a little linebacker. I'll go on the punt protection team. I'll do whatever it takes to play at Nebraska. Then they move him to tight end. He's willing to play a whole new position. You pointed out several times on this show, he could have gone to another school. He definitely could have gone to a G5 school, started. But he wanted to play at Nebraska. I've had conversations with family members. I know for a fact playing at Nebraska was a big deal to him. And I feel like I want to shout that out. I feel like Daniel Kalen's a very similar situation. Committed to Missouri. There was an opening at quarterback in that recruiting class. He immediately decommits from Missouri, comes to Nebraska, holds that entire recruiting class together, peer recruiting, if you remember that. All right, Dylan comes in. Daniel's here for a year. Then he transfers to Virginia. There's an opening to come back and play here or try to earn a job. He's immediately back at Nebraska. Like, I love this type of stuff. And obviously, if he earns the starting job and he goes and, we win 10 games, like, it's going to be talked about much more for obvious reasons. But I feel like it should at least be talked about just a little bit or a little bit more than it's not been talked about up to this point. These dudes from Nebraska who have options to go elsewhere, coming home and wanting to play for Nebraska. Now, ultimately, we need results on the field. But I feel, you look at last year's quarterback room. I thought Dylan was a good quarterback. He did good things. Okay. I don't know that we ever got to that 5-star level yet. Maybe he'll get there in the future. But a good quarterback. I feel like Anthony Calandria is going to be a good quarterback. I think it's fair to say that his ceiling might be a little bit higher. His floor might be a little bit lower just because he, when it comes to Big Ten, Power 4 games, he started at Virginia. But I think it's fair to say the ceiling might be a little bit higher, floor a little bit lower. I'm not concerned about the floor being uber low. But when you look at the starter, I'm like, okay, I feel like our starter is at least equivalent to what we had last year with a higher ceiling, I think, as far as based on the game management type play we actually got throughout the year from the quarterback position. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
You look at TJ Lateef, he's obviously going to be, if he's not the starter, if he's the backup, he's going to be better than he was last year. And you look at Daniel Kalen, I love Jalen Gromstad, but I feel like Daniel Kalen is going to be equivalent to maybe a little bit better potential option, more experience in starting Power 4 games anyways, as the number 3. I feel better about the quarterback room as a whole. I genuinely feel that way. Now, I will admit, Dylan didn't make a ton of mistakes. He started to turn the ball over before he got hurt more as the Big Ten season was going along. He didn't make a ton of mistakes. He didn't make the wow plays as much. He had the underhand flip at Minnesota or whatever, not for 10 yards or whatever it was. I wouldn't call that wow. I'd call that I'm going to rewind it once and watch it again and then move on play. But I feel like the ceiling is higher with Anthony Calandria. I feel like the rest of the room, the floor is higher with the rest of the room, and the ceiling is higher with the rest of the room. It doesn't guarantee anything because it's all about how it gels together. All right, my soliloquy is over. What are your thoughts here, Jake?
Yeah, no, I like especially what you're saying about Daniel Kalen. I think it's wild that Nebraska has that sort of depth in the room. Now, I do think that might speak to a little bit about the topping of the depth. I mean, I think this is a legitimate competition, like you're kind of saying with TJ Latif and Calandria. Now, to a degree, and I think Calandria, if you're the Mountain West Player of the Year, I have to keep saying this because people, it's like, oh, whatever, it's a lower. That's earned, not given. I mean, there are very few people that have won Player of the Year in a conference, so that's a big deal. So I do think that he's set to start, but I guess what I'd say is the opportunity is there. And so for Nebraska to be in this space with 3 guys that have started at the Power 5 level, Power 4 level is very, very impressive. Now, as far as better this way, that way, again, I think a lot has to do with fit. Dylan Raiola, if he starts next year for Oregon, probably going to have better stats than Anthony Calandria at Nebraska. That doesn't mean that it's a better fit for Nebraska, right? So, I think it's interesting how we're going to kind of have to do that math and look back at it. But a lot of that's just going to be, how, and so when you talk about fit, how does all this play together? We started this show talking about the offensive line. I think, again, all this kind of fits better to what Nebraska should be doing and working toward in Big Ten football, which is having a little bit, a mobile quarterback. And that obviously hurt them quite a bit at times last year.
Matt Rule admitted, I shouldn't say admitted, but he said, was it after the season that Osborne had told him years ago to always make sure you have a quarterback who can make plays with his legs. So we're to that point now. Of course, technically year 1, we had that too before Dylan Raiola got here. So as far as the quarterback room, it depends on how it all comes together. But sitting here in mid-January, I feel better about the room as a whole as we sit here in mid-January right now than I did last year. The room as a whole. Now we got to see how that comes together. Running back room, to me, there's more question marks. There's more question marks in the running back room. There's more question marks on the defensive line than the offensive line and quarterback position. And there's question marks there just because it's mid-January. We haven't even put on, let alone pads. We haven't even put on jersey and a helmet for spring ball yet because that's months away. They got winter conditioning coming up. The portal technically hasn't even closed. So we got a lot of time yet. But as we sit here, I think back to last year and how I felt about certain things at this point in time last year, and I feel better about the 2 topics we've had so far. O-line, quarterback. Not exponentially better, but better. Like the floor as a room as a whole is higher for both those rooms. You get to the running back room, I felt really good about Emmett Johnson last year. I don't know that any of us expected him to be the best running back in the Big Ten or should have been a Doak Walker Award finalist. We knew he was good. We didn't know what it was going to look like, and it was the depth behind him that was the gigantic question mark. As we sit here, right now, we have talented guys in that running back room. Isaiah Mosey, a very highly recruited wide receiver that just a year ago that they moved over to running back. Mekhi Nelson, you could see in the first drive of the Utah game, he's explosive. He's got some explosivity. He runs with some veracity. Quentin Ives, supposed to be that big power back. All right. Connor Booth. I mean, there's a couple of freshmen in there. There's just nothing proven. There's nothing proven yet. And there, as to my knowledge, been 0 running back portal visitors. So I cannot sit here and tell you, and I guarantee there's going to be more guys that come in via the portal to Nebraska. Maybe some of them are running backs. Maybe they've got a plan we're not aware of. There's probably going to be another guy or 2 that leaves before the portal closes on Friday. Okay. But as we sit here, right now, I cannot say that I feel better than I did last year at this time about the running back room as a whole. There's too many unproven question marks right now. There's more time. More things will change. I almost guarantee that. But what are your thoughts as we sit here, right now about the RB room, Jake?
Well, yeah, I mean, Emmett had such a special season that it's hardly even fair to expect the running backs to be as good. It's just interesting, though, because last year we talked about overlooking Emmett maybe going into the season. Part of that, he only had 1 touchdown last year on the ground. This was his big breakout season. A lot of that was Dante Dowdell stealing his touchdowns after he took him down to the 2 or 3 yard line or whatever it was. But in any case, he didn't have the stats to kind of to get people nationally kind of interested. But in any case, it was interesting because during that, I mean, I speak of Dowdell. Once Dowdell left, the whole offseason topic wasn't so much that we didn't see what we had in Emmett Johnson. And to a degree, there was that because of how he exploded out of it. But it was like, okay, what else is there? And so a lot of the running back conversation last year was about, okay, who's going to help Emmett? And here we are a year later, same guys in the room, same question. So it is kind of remarkable to see where where we are, because you're again, you have the same question mark as last year, but now it's not about splitting carries with Emmett. Emmett's gone.
I will say this, and we'll go to break. We'll come back, discuss the defensive line coach, Corey Brown. At the Husker games on the field, I had someone very, very high up when it comes to how Nebraska runs their offense look me in the eye and say, we got a lot of young, talented running backs, but I'd like to bring another guy in the portal. And they tried to get Charmar Brown. Obviously, it didn't work out, and we didn't add anybody else. I wonder how that same individual feels now. A year later, without Emmett, but the same guys are in that room for the most part. Kenneth Williams obviously hit the portal. He wasn't playing a ton as a running back, although, hey, is that a bunny head or is that a sack? That's a bunny head on the biker driving by.
That's right.
There's gigantic ears flopping off the top of that guy's biker helmet right there. My dad used to ride Harleys. I could not see my dad wearing that helmet. He would hate that.
So, no.
My grandpa Carriker, rest in peace, used to call salad rabbit food. I was like, it's not rabbit food. Just put a ton of Thousand Island on it, gobbled up. It's delicious. I loved it. Put more egg, put more cheese, tomatoes, cover up the greens with other good stuff, and it tastes delicious. Bacon bits. Let's go. Way to go all over the place, Adam. Squirrel. I was so easily distracted by the bunny helmet on the biker.
There's a bunny head. I was like, the bunny head would be small. I don't know where you're looking.
Did you see the biker helmet?
No, I saw the biker.
Okay.
You didn't say biker. You just, is that a bunny head? I'm kind of fearful. Like, all right. Well, what attacked the bunny?
I was trying to get you to look before he drove away.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was like a gigantic grocery sack on top of his head. I'm like, what am I looking at right now? All right. So the running back room just has more question marks for me right now. When we come back, let's chat about our new D-line coach, the defensive line room as a whole, as we sit here in good old mid-January. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection. Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
If you're tired of the dieting circuit paradox but still want to look, feel, and perform better, you need to get to Nutrition Authority and ask about our nutrition coaching featuring LifeBase. LifeBase takes a complex world of nutrition and makes it simple with real results that last. Stop in to learn more or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G16518. 2,500 down with proof credit.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, Business Development Officer at Midwest Bank's Lincoln branches. As a lifelong Lincolnite with over 30 years of experience in financial management, I'm here to help your business grow and succeed. My focus is building strong relationships with businesses and clients across Lincoln. Because at Midwest Bank, we believe banking is about people, not just numbers. Visit us at midwest.bank or stop by one of our Lincoln locations. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Tired of your furnace running overtime this winter? Let Heartland of Nebraska Windows save the day. Upgrade to stunning, energy-saving triple-pane vinyl windows installed by their team of experts. Every window comes with a lifetime warranty on everything, all for a price you can actually afford. Free estimates, flawless replacements, and peace of mind from a family-owned business you can trust. Don't wait. Call Heartland of Nebraska Windows at 402-430-3852 or visit heartlandofnebraskawindows.com today.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. Shout out to Suizo Construction. Ladies and gentlemen, at Suizo, safety isn't just a policy, it is a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back both on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business, Suizo Construction, that's SCHWISOW, Suizo.com. Also, shout out to Hamilton Telecommunications. They're bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at HamiltonTel.com. That's HamiltonTel.com. All right, just a couple of quick updates from yesterday. All right, Dante Dowdell's going to Georgia, the former Nebraska, Kentucky. Running back Malachi Coleman, the former Nebraska, Minnesota wide receiver, is now going to Wisconsin. He's kind of making the old Big Ten West tour, if you will. Wish him the best of luck going forward next season. All right, we got to be kind of quick here. Nebraska's new defensive line coach, Corey Brown. This is the dude who's been coaching defensive line along the way, strength and conditioning, along the way, recruiting coordinator for almost 20 years. Actually, it's been 20 years. He's produced 4 all-conference type players. All right, in his last stint there at Miami of Ohio, they had 89 sacks, all right, in recent years as well. This past season, they were top 15 in the country in sack rate. They got a sack once every 8.44% of plays, which was 15th in the country. They had 61 in the past 3 years. All right. They were top 20 sack percentage rate, 15th last year specifically, but they've done it consistently over the past 3 years. Consistency is king. But they also had, 106 total sacks, and 62 of those were attributed to the defensive line in the past 3 years. This is a dude who's been able to develop guys, whether it's from an JUCO level, getting to FCS, FCS to FBS, FBS to the NFL. He also coached at Rutgers. He's got some Big Ten experience as well. He has 2 stints in Miami of Ohio. He played defensive line at Iowa, actually played against Nebraska in 1999 as a Hawkeye defensive lineman. He's a guy that, frankly, was not as well known when he was hired, but he's also a guy who has shown he can get guys to the next level based on whatever level they're currently at. And everywhere he goes, the sack rate, the amount of sacks, and sack percentage goes up. We still have to be able to stop the run, which he's had players who are good at stopping the run as well. But this, everywhere he goes, the ability to get after the quarterback is the first thing that has stood out to me in improving that as a whole. What are your thoughts here, Jake?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Again, you kind of getting to know Corey Brown here, and so I mean, it looks like this is kind of his biggest job. So kind of moving his way up the coaching ranks. So we'll see. Obviously, took a while to get to hiring him. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Maybe wasn't their first pick all along, but a guy that they landed on. Like you said, those are some good numbers to kind of throw out there. Certainly deserved of the opportunity. But we'll see. I mean, I like I said, I kind of like nothing against the hire. I'm interested to see how it works. Doesn't quite get me going like a Jeep Wade, right, where you can kind of translate that success from another Power 4 level. But again, here's the opportunity. We'll see if he can make the most of it, big time. And they've got to believe in him. I mean, this is a very important hire, obviously positionally for this program.
Yeah, I would agree with that. A little bit more of opportunity. Like you said, his probably first big-time job, so we'll see how that unfolds. They've added a couple of defensive linemen literally since hiring him. All right. JUCO All-American, 6'2", 290 D tackle, Andy Berberhi. Now, 12 sacks as a D tackle. That's pretty impressive. I should mention Bill Bush has worked with Coach Brown in the past, so maybe I can chat with Coach Bush, learn a little bit more about him specifically. But JUCO All-American defensive tackle with 12 sacks, that's got to help us. Jazeer Whittington, the Pittsburgh freshman D tackle, 6 foot, 270 pounds, also committed to Nebraska. When it comes to the defensive line as a whole, it's a little bit like you've got Williams Waniri coming back. You've got Dylan Rogers as Jack linebacker. You got David Hofkin, Riley Van Poppel, Cam Lenhart, Cade Piersack, Gabe Moore. You've got a lot of these guys coming back. So you've got guys with more experience. You expect them to be bigger and stronger, have a little bit more girth, kind of like what we're adding through the portal on the offensive line, but more girth going into next year with another year of strength and conditioning under Corey Campbell, our strength and conditioning coach. I still think we need a big run stopper or two in the middle. I don't look at any of them right now and be like, that's a nose guard. I don't see it in a four-man line. I played nose guard in a four-man line. I played three technique and I played end. I know what that all looks like. I know what it all feels like. I started all those positions, not just at Nebraska. I didn't start nose guard at Nebraska, but in the NFL. Right end, left end, in a 4-3, 3-4, left end. Never did do right end. Don't know why. And nose guard and three technique at the Rams. I started all those positions. I know what they look like. And I'm not saying these guys can't do it. They certainly can, especially if one of them gets immensely a little bit more girth and is still able to move appropriately. But for now, a little bit more unproven on the D-line. What do we do as far as stopping the run? And so we'll see how it all unfolds. The offensive line quarterback position, I do feel absolutely like the floor is higher this year. Who knows what the ceiling can be with running back, defensive line. A few more question marks. We'll see how the offseason continues to unfold. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, Jake?
No, it's a pleasure doing the show with you. We'll see you again on Thursday, right?
That is correct, my friend. Always a pleasure doing it with you. Enjoy the 15 clips I sent you that we did not run today. Thank you for editing them. We will get to them eventually. Most of them are evergreen. And go Big Red. And always remember, throw the bow.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And electrical.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer